Welcome to Wise Minds, Wild Hearts, the podcast for heart-led high achievers just like you, ready to take inspired action and achieve true alignment. If you're craving deeper influence, greater impact, and a life that genuinely lights you up, you're in the right place. I'm Kip Clark, former academic turned entrepreneur, transformational coach, elite athlete, and shameless fountain pen addict. Here, you'll learn how to leverage the beautiful wisdom of your years with the wild passion that drives you forward. Together, we'll break through those limiting beliefs, unlock the power of your subconscious mind, and create a life that aligns with your soul's desire. Ready to create the kind of impact you've always dreamed of? Let's do this. Have you ever been in a conversation where it felt like the other person was physically there, but not really there? Or maybe you've caught yourself scrolling on your phone during dinner, nodding along while barely registering the words your table mate is saying to you. Recently, I experienced this phenomenon in a way that left me reflecting deeply. I was invited to speak at a virtual summit, and most of the participants had their cameras off. So there I was, sharing insights and stories, but instead of being able to look at all those lovely, engaging faces, I was speaking to a sea of black screens. I didn't feel connected at all to the audience, whoever they were, and it made me wonder, where else do we show up as present absences in our lives? And what might happen if we start to change that and we choose to show up fully instead? There's a term in psychology called absent presence, coined by Sherry Turkle, one of my favorite authors and researchers. And she's been doing work on the impact of technology on our lives for decades now. And she describes the state of being physically present, but mentally or emotionally disengaged. Now, with technology at our fingertips, this is more common than ever. Just think about when you maybe text during meetings, you watch TV while half listening to your spouse or partner, or even when you're at a virtual event with your camera off. Research from the University of California, Irvine found that even brief interruptions, like checking your phone quickly, can significantly disrupt your focus and decrease the quality of your interpersonal interactions. So here's the big question. If how we do one thing is how we do everything, where else does this absent presence show up in our lives? Where else might you be hiding or phoning it in, so to speak? Think about relationships, for example. Are you fully present in your conversations, either in a face-to-face context or through some kind of mediated channel like a Zoom? Or do you find yourself distracted, multitasking, even just zoning out? Or perhaps it's your health and wellness. Do you just sort of check out during workouts, or when you're eating your meals, are you focused on something else other than how you're nourishing your body? Last week, I was at my local gym and I noticed someone sitting on one of the machines with her phone in her hands. And I and a few others were waiting to use that machine, but this person was clearly unaware of that. She was 100 miles away. She sat there, not actually using the equipment, but instead doing that, the two-thumb dance on her phone. And this went on for nearly 15 minutes until finally someone went up to her and asked her to vacate the equipment. He actually had to tap her on the shoulder to get her attention because she was so absorbed with her screen. She didn't even notice him standing right in front of her. Or what about at work? Are you just going through the motions, attending meetings without contributing, maybe procrastinating on tasks that matter, not giving anything your full attention as they deserve? Or maybe it's your finances. How often are you avoiding looking at your bank account or your budgeting because it's just too uncomfortable? And most importantly, how often are you absent in your relationship with yourself? Where are you ignoring your real emotions, your deepest dreams? Where are you not paying attention to that quiet inner voice telling you something needs to change? When we consistently show up only partially present, we create ripple effects. In our relationships, it can quickly lead to feelings of disconnection and resentment. Because more than anything, people want to feel seen and heard and valued. So, what impact would it have, your absent presence, on those around you? How do you feel when you want to engage with someone, but that person is more focused on her phone than on what you actually have to say? I have a former friend that used to call me up to join her at a local coffee shop for a catch-up visit. But the moment she arrived, she would retrieve her phone from her purse and place it on the table between us. The message that action sent to me was the same as if she had just looked me in the eye and said to me directly, "It doesn't matter what you and I might be talking about here. If this phone pings or buzzes, it's going to be a priority over whatever you might be saying." And since that's exactly what would happen, I just stopped meeting her for coffee. At work, this absent presence can result in a lack of fulfillment, a lower quality of work, and missed opportunities. There's a quotation I really love that goes something like this: "Your real progress starts once you're honest with yourself." Now, what's significant about that statement is the idea that we're convincing ourselves of something other than what's really going on. The truth is that many of us are not fully present most of the time in our lives. Technology has been designed specifically to keep us engaged with it. The pings, the buzzes, the little red dots, those have been designed specifically to keep us coming back over and over again. And the effect that's having on our lives is truly significant. In health, with respect to your health, it can keep you stuck in patterns that don't serve you. I mean, how often are you eating meals while maybe doing work or watching TV, or scrolling your phone, or anything other than just even paying attention to what you're putting into your body? A study from just a few years ago in Nature Communications revealed that people who cultivate mindful presence in their daily interactions report a much higher level of well-being and much deeper connections with others. So it's clear when we show up fully present, it makes a difference. So how can we do that? How can we break the habit of that constant pull from our devices and start being truly present? Well, first, we can start with small intentional acts of presence, of mindfulness. So, for example, put your phone and any other distractions away during meals. That can really go a long way towards turning the dial down on anxiety and those feelings that you're being pulled in so many directions at one time. Also, limit multitasking. If you're on a call with someone, be on the call. If you're having a conversation in, the same space with someone, be truly present there. No checking email, scrolling your social media feeds, etc. And if you want a quick way to test how multitasking is not actually more efficient than single tasking, a lot of us have convinced ourselves that we're very good at multitasking and that we actually get more done. Try this. Just get a piece of paper and something to time yourself with. And then going as fast as you can, write the numbers 1 to 15 across a line. And then on the next line below, write the letters A through O. Those are the first 15 letters of the alphabet. So make note of how long it took you to complete both those lines, 1 to 15, and then A through O. Next, you're going to time yourself again, but this time you're going to alternate back and forth between numbers and letters. So move down to the blank area on the page, and this time you're going to write the number 1 on a new line, and just below it the letter A, and then go back up and write the number 2, and then below it the letter B, and so on. So you're doing the same 15 numbers and the same 15 letters, but you're alternating them. And time yourself. Now take a look at the time, and what you will probably find is it has taken you more than twice as long to write in that alternating style, because your brain has to flip back and forth between those two tasks, and that is retrieving what's the next number and then what's the next letter. So Even though you use numbers and letters all the time and you can just rhyme them off without even really thinking about it, this will show you that even something as simple as these two tasks, writing out numbers, writing out letters, when you're juggling only those two things, it slows your progress substantially. Now, when it comes to virtual meetings, and I know everybody got pretty tired of them, pretty saturated with Zoom meetings or team meetings or Google meetings, etc. The reality is we have to be present on them from time to time. So just make it a habit of showing up with your camera on. Doesn't really matter if you're not wearing your best stuff or the room behind you isn't tidy. I mean, there are ways that you can just blur your screen, but the important thing is that you show up with your camera on. It's symbolic of showing up fully, not just there, but in other areas of your life too. Even if it's uncomfortable, consider it a practice in visibility and connection. And then you can also take 5 minutes a day just to ask yourself, so this is best done at the end of the day, where was I really present today? And just note how you were feeling in those moments when you were truly present. And then where could you have been more present? Were there conversations or were there things you were doing when you were actually multitasking? How could you have done those things differently? And as always, this is not about letting your inner critic scold you and make you feel bad. It's just about noticing and learning and then showing up in a better way in all your interactions going forward. Presence is like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. So I invite you just to try this week. Experiment a little bit. Just pick a moment each day or a few times a day and bring your full self to that moment. Just notice what changes. Notice how your conversations change. Notice how the way you feel in your body changes. You'll probably find you feel calmer. You feel more connected. Everything will seem to slow down a little bit. Because when we truly show up, we don't just change our experience, we're also changing the experiences of the people that are interacting with us too. So give this a try. Notice anytime you're absently present in your life, and then how are you choosing to change that? All right, my friends, that's it for this episode. If this has been helpful to you, let me know. I love to hear about all the positive changes you're making in your life. And if there's someone you know who might benefit from hearing this message, please share the love, my friend. See you next time on Wise Minds, Wild Hearts.